Welcome to Her Story, the podcast where we share the real, behind-the-scenes journeys of founders who are shaping our Space Coast and Treasure Coast communities.
This show is about the stories that don't always make it to social media, the turning points, the risks, the lessons learned, and the moments that quietly change everything.
We sit down with founders and small business leaders to talk about where they started, what they've overcome, and what it truly takes to build something meaningful.
Her Story is produced in partnership with We Venture Women's Business Center. It elevates small businesses and inspires the next generation of entrepreneurs to pursue their ideas with confidence.
You do not have to build alone. There's an entire community ready to help take your ideas from vision to reality.
Whether you're a business owner or a dreamer in the early stages, or someone who loves supporting small businesses, this show is for you.
This is Her Story. Alexis McGuire, welcome to the Her Story podcast.
Hi.
We're so excited to have you here. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so I'm Alexis McGuire. I'm the CEO of Nationwide Medical Licensing. Think of us as like an outsourced credentialing department for healthcare providers, healthcare organizations, to get them licensed to practice medicine, to take insurance at their practices, and to get like hospital privileges and enrollments done. We've been around since 2007. I've kind of been in charge for the past 8 years of the company, second generation in the company, and that's us.
Let's talk about when it all started. What was that like? Take us back to that turning point.
Yeah, because Alexis, you have an incredible story to share. You could probably write 3 books at this point. Probably.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, second generation. I took over the company when I unfortunately lost my mom. Really more than that, it was my expanded family, but my mom was the one that really mattered in this scenario. When I lost her to kind of a domestic violence dispute that happened.
Oh, I didn't know it was domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, the long story short is she had decided she was ready to leave her husband. He decided he wasn't going to allow that, and unfortunately, shot her. My aunt was visiting, shot her, locked my 9-year-old brother in his bedroom, and set the house on fire.
I don't think I heard all of these details.
Before escaping out to sea, and still 8 years later, nobody knows where he is.
No. So you lost your
This
brother
is
in the
insane.
fire? Wow. And so that happens, and then were you working for your mom before that?
I was. So I tried the college life, was not for me. And so I came back to work for the family business. It just made sense.
Yeah.
How many years into it were you at that point?
So when everything happened, I was full-time for about a year. Now I had done like summer internships, like I answered the phones when I wasn't in school. I did some like cleaning. I did reception work for many years prior to that. But actually like full-time, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 style, it was about a year.
When you
Wow.
got that call, what was going through your head?
So that's the funny part of the story is I actually didn't get the call from the source that you would think most people would get their call from. The day before was my now husband's birthday. So I was celebrating his birthday with him that night before. And that next day, him and I were supposed to go to lunch with my mom and my aunt.
Wow.
That was supposed to be like the big meet. Like he had never met her before.
Oh
Jeez.
my God.
So that morning, him and I, we do like Sunday waffles. That's been our like tradition that we've been doing for years.
I love it.
And so we did our waffles. I went back to my apartment because we were living in apartment complexes right next to each other. I went back to my apartment. I remember laying on my bed, just like eating cream puffs out of a bin and watching TV. And my phone rings. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And I saw it was like somebody who had worked at the company previously, but didn't currently work at the company.
Huh.
And she was like, hey, I just saw the news. I'm so sorry. And I was like,
about what?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? And she was like, I'll send you the link to what I saw. And at the time, it was still early enough that it was just family missing, house on fire, family missing.
Oh, very superficial,
Yeah.
not
So
Like they had sent out like an
No.
Amber Alert or whatever the kid version is,
Uh-huh.
an Amber Alert, I think.
Yeah.
They had sent that out, and basically like at the time it was just there was a fire they were trying to control and they didn't know where the family was.
So you thought it was at that point like a lot less serious.
At that
than
point
what
I
was
just thought that, oh, maybe they were with like, because his family was in town. I was like, oh, maybe they were out at family, like whatever. Nobody was answering their phones though. My mom wasn't picking up. My aunt wasn't responding. Like nobody was picking up their phones. So I bust into my at the time boyfriend, now husband's apartment, and he's just playing video games, and he for some reason left his door unlocked. And I just bust into his apartment, and I remember going, my family's missing, and him just going, I'm sorry guys, I gotta go, and just putting his headset down, and us just trying to like walk through the whole story. Eventually driving down, because I was like, oh, maybe it's one of those like fake article thingies. Maybe I'm the weird target for no reason of this fake article thing.
Right,
Like whatever.
like some type of
I was
spoof.
like, so the only way to really know is let's go to the house. Turn on the street, way down, probably a mile down. You see the police lights. And I just remember going, oh my gosh, this is real. We finally get down to the end, and I walk onto the scene, and I remember the detectives being like, you can't be here, you can't be here. And I'm like, no, that's my family. You don't understand.
Yeah.
And I remember them being like, oh, well, we were told that their daughter was in Gainesville at college still. And I was like, you didn't search my driver's license and see that like my address is an apartment complex in Palm Bay?
Oh my
I wonder
god.
where they got that
Yeah, I wonder-
information.
I think the neighbors thought I was still at college.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, I was like,
So do
You didn't
due
search me
diligence.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure enough, stood out there through 2 bodies being found.
Oh my God, this is horrible.
The next morning, stood back out there again for the 3rd body to be found.
Was the house burnt to a crisp? There's nothing left?
Pretty much. There were like weird, I never understand how house fires like choose what to take and what not to take.
Oh yeah, it's weird.
Because it's like
It's really weird.
there was like the garage wall was still there. Some of the internal walls were still there. The staircase was halfway there.
Oh my
Like the
gosh.
washer and dryer were like pristine.
Oh, it's so weird.
It was the weirdest. Like the couch was still there, just had stuff on top of it. It was the
Wow.
weirdest. Like, why did these things stay and not burn? But that was my that was a Sunday. That was my Sunday. I literally stood on the street just waiting to find out, like, did they find them? Are they in there?
Oh,
What's
they didn't tell you
happening?
as soon as you got on the scene?
Well, at that time they were still searching. Like
They hadn't pulled
they
bodies
hadn't
out yet.
they hadn't been able to
Oh
go
my
in yet.
gosh.
They were still putting the fire out.
Oh my God.
I can't even imagine. Okay, so that's Sunday.
Mm-hmm. And Monday, the next day, I went into the office at 8:30.
You're insane. How?
And what was going through your mind?
For
When you
me,
went
it
in?
was this. I knew that that there were employees in a way. That was my main thought. Was we had a couple employees that were working for us. I knew they were going to be worried about, do they have a future? Is there still a company? Is there still a job for them to come to? What's going to happen now? And I knew I had always wanted to take over the company eventually. So it was just kind of,
Well, here I go.
here I am.
Yeah.
Gonna have to go through all the legal stuff, but it's mine now.
Have you
Yeah.
always been like a master at compartmentalizing? Is that how you're able to like, okay, put that aside. I'm going to deal with that
Yeah.
emotion later, and we're just going to go.
Yeah, for better or for worse. I mean, there's been times that compartmentalizing has not been the healthiest thing to do. But yeah, I've always been able to oddly compartmentalize.
Jeez, but something that big. Wow.
I mean, I ignored it for a while.
Did you call a team meeting on Monday?
Yes. That morning I did call a team meeting. I kind of sat, I think we had 5 employees at the time. I sat everybody down and was like, okay, here's what I know, because the story was still unfolding. Here's what I know. Here's what you saw from the news. Let me kind of help say yay or nay to what all the news, what the press had been putting out there. And just was like, I plan to keep this going as long as like I can. This is, unfortunately, in this circumstance, this was what I wanted. I wanted the company, just not in this way. Yeah. So it was sitting them down and telling them, you still have a job, you still have a future here. I will have you as long as you want to stay. There were a lot of emotions thrown around. I not long after had an employee, she didn't even do it to my face. She did it to the camera, like the security camera in the building, but basically like told me that I had no shot of ever going anywhere with this company, and that she didn't ever want to, that she only ever wanted to work for my mom, and that I was just going to disgrace her legacy and like quit. Wow. Just like talking to a video camera.
Had you two ever had issues in the past?
I mean, she was like my second level manager. I had a manager and then she was like the next level manager. So we never had like issues, but she was very much like, she always wanted to protect my mom. She was the person that,
So she may have been just,
I think she was in shock. She had a lot going on, but it was just a really weird scenario. I have no idea what ended up happening to her, but she, sure enough, quit to the video camera.
And this was how long after?
I think this was probably a week or 2 after.
Oh, this is just so much. Yeah. So much to process and deal with.
So you went in and your leading thought was, I need these employees to feel safe and secure. I mean, that's a testament to who you are. So let's dive into that a little bit more. Like, leading into this, some of the things that came out in the survival mode that you jumped into, where did that come from?
I mean, really, it was a lot of that came from my mom. Growing up, that was just the person that she was. As far as I knew, she was really good at compartmentalizing and never really let me see anything was ever wrong, or that there were issues going on at home, or in her, marriages, or just life in general. She always had this face that everything was okay and that we would get through it, which, I mean, I knew in the end, like, optimistically, I knew we would always get through it. It was just a matter of, I never knew how bad the situation really was. I just always knew that we got through it.
She was mama bear. She was protecting you guys. And
Very
so
much.
That's what you knew to do with your people.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that people always call me, is I always get told I'm the mom of the group. I'm always the one that people go to for different situations, for different issues that they have. I'm typically the one that has all the medications in their purse and all the things like, oh, something's wrong here. I've got the Advil. I've got the...
We always have that friend, that girlfriend, but I think it's really important to remind our viewers how old you were when all of this took place, when you took over the family business.
So I was 20.
Oh my gosh.
Like she said, not even legally able to drink yet. And she's taking over.
Not even legally drink. Going to all, like, joining into all the networking events and going to all of these events and parties and soirees and balls that all the different local nonprofits and not-for-profits and everybody would put on, and not even being able to drink.
Wow.
Just being thrust into this whole world.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So
yeah, talking about, so that was one big, huge shift. In the last 8 years, what other types of challenges have you faced along the way?
Every journey is so unique, and yours is especially unique.
I mean, you started off like strong with that intention, but then once you really got into running it, tell us about that.
So everything, it took some getting used to. It took some learning. I know at the beginning I read a bunch of books. I watched a bunch of podcasts. I did all the typical, like, videos and YouTube to just find out how to lead, how to do it. And then everything was going really well. The first like 4 or 5 years, we had some of our best years for the company.
That's huge.
I mean, medical, we picked COVID, obviously, which ended up being a big boom for us because everybody needed telemedicine. And so that made our business boom because all of these doctors now needed licenses to practice telemedicine. So we had some of our best years financially and just in general for the company. But then not too long after COVID, we had gotten in a really bad habit of saying yes to any client that walked through the door, no matter how big, no matter how small. We were in a really bad habit of just, we used to call it just putting butts in seats. When we would look for employees, we knew we needed a certain amount of employees to process a certain amount of files. And if we said yes to this company, that meant we needed X amount of employees. At one point, I think I had 34 employees.
That's massive.
Yeah, that's huge.
To go from 6, was it, when you took over, to 34? Whoa, that's huge. That's crazy growth.
So we had all these employees and we were just hiring to keep up. And we, at the time, my second in command kept saying yes to everything and put us in a bunch of contracts, not just client side, but on the back end, like operations side, put us into a bunch of contracts with vendors, like CRMs, just all of these large fees that we were paying out because we had 34 employees. Well, we hit a financial hardship at one point in the next like 2 years after that. And we started having to let people go, the typical company financial hardship. But then we found out that those contracts that she had signed us into locked us in at the seat count for when we signed those contracts. So we were locked in paying, tens of thousands of dollars for these CRMs and these programs and these systems for 34 employees. Well, when we didn't have 34 employees anymore, we still had to pay all of that same money as if we had 34 employees. And we were already going through financial hardship.
Oh, it gets so expensive.
Are you able to share a little bit about what led to the financial hardship? Was it circumstantial?
We lost one of our biggest clients.
Oh, got it.
It was one of our top 3. We overpromised and we just couldn't deliver it. And instead of trying to find a way to work around it or trying to like renegotiate with them, we just they just left. They had a meeting with us and said, hey, we're not happy. We've tried to talk to you guys. This isn't working.
Oh, that's so
and
hard.
Just cut the tie.
And that was really damaging for the company.
Very. They were probably like $1 million in terms of like sales revenue company for us.
Wow.
That's painful.
And they just left. Came to find out a few weeks later, after going through different people's emails, that they had come to us and asked for us to kind of work with them and to do all these different things.
But this never got to you.
But it never really got to me. What got to me is that they were a problem client. And that
So it was completely misinterpreted.
Correct.
And like, oh no.
I got told that we were doing everything perfect on our end and that they were just unrealistic in their expectations. When it come to find out, we weren't meeting the contractual expectations that they had laid out for us, and they tried to have us fix it, and we just didn't fix it.
This is the hard part of being the owner, because you trust your managers.
And when you get really big and there's so many people and there's so many moving pieces.
At that point, there were 4 or 5 levels of management between me and my like entry-level positions, because we had like team leads and team like department managers, and then we had like a manager above that, and then it was like the COO, and then like...
And it feels like that's the natural way to grow, right? You get more employees, and then you add in the layers and the supervision and accountability, and you think like, okay, this is success, right? So what were some of the things that happened after that point?
One of the biggest things was we realized that wasn't feasible. One of our company like core values is that we put people first. That's kind of one of the things that makes us different compared to our competitors, is that we are a real person that you can reach. We're not a bot, you're not going through AI and having to speak to some random third-party answering service. When you call in, you reach a person. And that was something that made us different for the longest time. Still does. That is one of our biggest differences. But that's what we were preaching externally. We weren't actually following it internally. So one of the biggest changes that I personally, a lot of it was me. I wanted to be so separate from my entry-level employees. I wanted to come into work and just deal with my upper-level managers and not, it's terrible to say, but it's the truth. I barely even knew most of my entry-level people's names. I didn't know anything about them. I only ever knew what I was told from my managers, and that was just what I viewed as normal, what I thought was how it worked when you got bigger. And it was kind of what I wanted. I was enjoying not having to worry about that nitty-gritty detail. But that was honestly the first thing we changed when we shrunk back down, because for the longest time we shrunk down to about 3 people.
Wow.
And we were processing pretty much the same amount of workload with those 3 people.
That's insane. So you just upped your efficiency.
We worked a lot. It gave us some time to work on the back end, to realize the platforms we were using weren't efficient. I was working files. It gave me time to see, here's how you actually take this process from start to finish. Here's how the process that we were teaching our people, here's what the training manual says. But then there was so much overlap. It was like, okay, do this here, but then 6 steps later, do this here. But then, okay, well, why didn't I do that here? Because it would have saved us a month of processing time. So it was cutting through all of that, making things much more efficient, making the process flow better, building our own internal platform that worked exactly how we wanted it to work, at least the bare bones, which also saved us the money on the software and the license side of things, because we didn't have to buy from a third party. It was now ours.
I want to go back a little bit, because you had 35 or 34 employees at some point, and then you realized it wasn't feasible, and then you had to cut back. Talk about how was that self-reflection process for a leader? You are at this point redefining what success looks like. What were some of the things that you did? Did you speak to advisors? What was that support? And how did you know that you needed to make that decision to cut back and start over? Because that's a huge shift. There's a lot going on there. It's not just and then we went down to 3 employees and redid. I want to dive more into that.
Led up to that decision.
Because that's a really big decision for the leader.
So when we first hit that financial hurdle, we knew, when that client left, we knew, okay, they were a net 90 for payment terms. We know in 90 days, we are going to start feeling this financial burden. So we started kind of making the shifts of kind of getting rid of the people that we knew we weren't going to need after that time period. Not long after that, another one of our clients left because the morale of our people tanked because we started letting go of people. So then another one of our clients left.
When you say we making these decisions, did you have an internal management team?
So at the time, it was what we called our executive team. So it was me, my second in command. She was still there at this point. So my COO at the time, I had an executive assistant, and we occasionally would consult with we had a HR vendor, like an HR partner style that we had working with us. So it was really those of us that were making those decisions and having to talk about what was going to happen, and then filling in the next level of management, because they were going to be the ones that had to start letting their people go. And it just, we just kept losing clients left and right. The employees' morale just kept dropping and dropping, and we kept letting people go and letting people go and letting people go.
So in your mind, were you trying to you were obviously trying to figure out what was happening?
Very much so. We just kind of had to sit down and be like, okay, here's where we are. The current people that we have are just, their morale is just terrible. They're good employees. What can we do to keep them? Mm-hmm. And we had made the decision, okay, we were doing a little bit better financially. We were more stable. We weren't actively bleeding anymore. Mm-hmm. We had finally stemmed that. And we had made the decision of, okay, we're going to keep these employees with whatever means we possibly can. We're going to give you guys raises in the new year. Mm-hmm. Well, we lost one more client in between that point and the new year. And now, in a sense, I was now a liar. We promised these people they were going to get these raises, but now we could not feasibly afford to give these people raises. And we started having to let people go. I mean, when we had promised raises, we were probably down to about 10 people. Mm-hmm. I think that brought us down to about 6 people.
Take us to that conversation where you had to sit down your employees and give them that news.
Really, I mean, we pulled everybody in individually because at that point we were small enough and we wanted to make sure that we were tailoring that conversation to the different personality that we had in that scenario.
And was it you that was having these conversations?
It was not me that had the conversations. Okay. It should have been. That's something like looking back on it, I should have been at least in the room. Okay. But at that time, we were still using the managers that were still there and the HR person to deliver that bad news. Okay. I was still a step back at that point. Mm-hmm. I hadn't made the decision that this isn't feasible and I needed to be actually present in my employees' lives and day to day. Yet at that point,
this is all still getting to that place where it was crystal clear. We need full transparency with our team.
Right.
Okay.
And then I think 1 or 2 left because they just didn't feel like it was possible. They didn't feel like they had good job stability. That's the word I was looking for. Mm-hmm. They didn't feel like they had the job stability. So they went to other employers. They found they were doing interviews. They went elsewhere, which, I mean, looking at it, if I were in their shoes, I would have too. Constantly having all my coworkers get let go, knowing the company was having financial hardships, I would have left too. And then it came to a point where I remember talking to a couple of my advisors that I had kind of created this little team of a couple people that I really trusted. Mm-hmm. It was 2 good friends that were also entrepreneurs who understood because they had also at one point in their careers gone through financial issues with their company. Mm-hmm. It was my HR advisor who I had a really good relationship and my attorney. And I remember sitting down with each of them individually because you couldn't get them all in the same room together. It was impossible to match schedules. Yeah. I remember sitting them down and being like, I think this is it. I don't I've tapped myself out on the back end. I've put all of my money in. I don't have much more to give. I'm burnt out. My staff is burnt out. At some point during this process, my then second in command had just up and vanished. Told me on a Monday that she had family issues and that she needed to go out of town to deal with that. And then Friday morning, her direct reports came into my office and told me that she had met with them the night before and that she had accepted a new job and that she was not going to be returning.
Shady.
Oh my God.
But she couldn't come to you and be upfront about it?
Which she was my best friend. She was maid of honor in my wedding.
Oh my gosh.
Shady.
Yeah. How do you keep going after all those hits? I mean, she got
to that place where she was like, I think I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm going to walk away from this now.
I did. I sat down with each one of them and said, I don't think I can do this anymore. And this whole time I had been picking and choosing what I brought home. My husband knew we were going through issues, but he didn't know how bad the issues were at this point.
Oh, still with the compartmentalizing.
So you're protecting him.
So at that point, I was protecting him, from all of it. Didn't want it to, because that was always the thing that him and I had differences of opinions on, was finances. I was more willing to give into, like, put money into my company and invest in hopes of there being a light at the end of the tunnel.
And he's a little more cautious.
He was very much more cautious. I mean, he doesn't work in the companies. It's not his mom. He didn't have that legacy, like, expectation on his shoulder. He just viewed it as, it's your job. It's draining money more than it's paying you money right now, because there were weeks where I didn't even pay myself. And you're not happy. You're not enjoying it. Is this really what you want to do?
But that legacy bit is huge. That's a huge component.
It was one of those that really, like, tugged on my heartstrings, where it was, I just don't think I can do this anymore. And it was my lawyer who actually sat down and was like, okay, let's look at your financial statements. Let's look at, your accounts receivable, your accounts payable. What do we need to do to get you through this? And I had, at this point, had just given up. And he looked at everything and was like, now, wait a minute, hold on. This isn't yes, this is a make or break moment. You can 100% walk away if you are truly burnt out. But look at this, and laid out how it was just a cash flow issue.
Okay.
Because we, for a little while there, couldn't even really make payroll. And I was having to, like, use my credit cards to make payroll. And I had maxed out everything. I couldn't do it anymore. And we were coming to another one of those junctions where payroll is going to be due in 2 weeks. I don't have the money to give.
And it's just so stressful. I can't even imagine the amount of stress you were under.
And he said, this is a cash flow issue. If you can do this, 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 and this, and you know that you have this client who's going to pay on this day, so if you can move these couple bills around and ask these people to give you some leniency, you'll make payroll. And then if you look over here, here's another payment that's going to be coming in that will catch up these. And I, at the time, hadn't noticed that. Like I had said earlier, I was just so...
You were just taking the hits.
I was out of it. I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I had checked out.
Was there any guilt involved too? Like, did your mom ever express what her vision for the company was? Is that?
Not really.
Okay.
For her, it was a job.
Okay.
It was a job. It paid the bills. It fed the family. It was what she had created coming out of, or like right before and going into like the market crash of like 08, 09 with all the stuff that happened.
That recession,
because I mean, she started the company in 07. So it was like right there.
Ooh. How about your vision for it when you started off?
When I started, I saw, and to this day, I still see the same potential. I've just shifted a little bit. At the time, I used to tell my upper managers, I want to get so big that I want a bank tower.
Wow, that's lofty goals.
Yeah.
I was like,
I want a bank tower. I want the like C-suite office at the top of a bank tower with this beautiful view. I want to have so many employees that I can't possibly know everybody. Like that was what I wanted, because at the time, success meant people.
Alexis, where did this come from? Was it a movie? Was it a mentor? Like, who fed that narrative in your brain?
From what I can tell, nobody. It was just my thought. I had come up with. It was just
I mean, the movies, right? Like Society
does paint that picture.
Those big towers in New York,
Office with the view.
Yeah, Wall Street. That was the image that we were fed. Just in society.
To me, that's just what success meant. The more employees I had, the more successful I must have been. I didn't have any, I understood like the bottom line, but that wasn't what I viewed as success. So it was really just the people. So
talking about cash flow, your attorney's telling you it's just a cash flow issue. That is invaluable perspective. Because, the statistics of businesses only making it to the 3 to 5 year point and then flopping out is most of the times it was a cash flow, but they didn't know how to solve it. So tell us more about that realization and what you did next and how you kind of changed your trajectory from there.
Yeah. So once I saw what he was seeing and I knew we could get through it and it wasn't the end of the world at that scenario, I, because this was very much an internal reflection that I had to make. I remember sitting down and being like, okay, so we can get through it cash flow, but can I get through this?
Yeah.
I had hit a point where I could not compartmentalize it much longer. I was boiling over. I couldn't do it. And I'll never forget this one, but I was sitting at a bar. It was like 4:00 on a weekday. And I sat myself in a bar in downtown Melbourne. And I just stared at myself in the like glass mirror that most bars have behind all the bottles of alcohol. And I just stared at myself in the mirror and was just like, who am I?
Oh, wow.
What do I want to do? It also, there was added onto it too, in the fact that in this time span, I had become a mom. And I then had all of the like postpartum mom hormones that kind of played into it. And I had just lost myself in all of it.
Yeah.
Being a wife, being a mom, being a CEO, being the friend that all of my friends viewed as the mom. And I was the person they came to with their issues. I just couldn't do it. And I just remember sitting down and going, who am I now? Who do I want to be? Okay, well now how do I get there? I had this, I was like, I want to be this. How do I get there?
Yeah.
What do I do to get there? How do I get out of this? Because I'm sick of this feeling. I was sick of the not knowing. And it was, okay, how do we get there? And I remember, because during this time period, my second in command had shifted from the person who I thought was my best friend to my sister.
Oh.
And I remember sitting down with her and being like, look, here's where we're at. Here's where I know we can go. But that means for the next year and a half, we need to go as lean as we possibly can. And she was like, what do you mean as lean? Like, what are we going to do? Work the files? I was like, yeah, we're going to work the files. You and I are going to take full task lists. We're going to have our assistant help us with all the other stuff that we need to do. And we are going to get through this.
And in your world, that means starting at the bottom, the entry level positions. Nice. Okay. Wow.
So wait, I want to back up just a bit. You said your sister.
Mm-hmm.
When did your sister come into the picture?
Yeah, that's another story.
That's another chapter. That's a big one.
That's another story. So I didn't know. I thought my whole life I only had the brother that I lost in the domestic violence issue. That was my only family. That's who I was raised with. We had an 11-year age gap, but that was who I was raised with. That was my only family, and that was it. And I remember sitting down with my husband and being like, oh, well, if we ever have kids, I have nobody. You have this whole like family of 40 or so people that all live within like 3 miles of each other on the Gulf Coast. Like, you have this huge family and I have no one. Dad's not in the picture due to his own choices. Mom's gone, brother's gone. My grandparents all live in different states. I have nobody. It's just me and you. That's all I've got. So he's going to have, like, my kid's going to have nobody. Now, I say he because it's a son I ended up having. Mm-hmm. But he's not going to have anybody. And 2 weeks later, I got a message on Facebook from a woman or a girl, because she was only like 18. And she had reached out and was like, hi, I'm your sister.
At Valley Bank, there isn't a how we haven't heard.
How?
How do we pay for these?
How do I pass down what I built?
How do we grow with someone who gets it?
How do I go from here to there? How do we afford a bigger place?
How do I make this work?
Listening is how.
Understanding is how.
Caring is how.
Valley Bank, that's how.
I don't want any money or anything. I just want you to know that like I'm here and I just want to get to know you. And
That's how she opened?
I honestly wish I'll go back and find the message. But it was like, that's pretty much how she opened. I was like, block.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no other
You're like,
response.
I was like, that's weird. There's no way. I was just talking to my husband about this. And I was like, man, my phone is really like listening to me and giving me some like bot that's trying to scam me. Like, no, there's no way.
Wild.
A couple days or a week later, I think she realized she was blocked and her mom reached out to me and gave me the whole story of here's what car your father drove, here's how I met him, here's all these different things. And I reached out to my family to be like,
yeah, let's cross-reference this.
Hey, what car did he drive?
Is this possible?
Is this possible?
Bonkers.
And I was still super skeptical. And her mom was like, I'll pay for a DNA test.
Wow.
And I was like, I mean, hey, that'll prove it without a doubt. You are or are not. And our dad agreed to participate so that we could get even a closer like comparison match. Sure enough, 99.9999999.
And did Dad tell you at this point? Like, did he spill it all and share with you? Okay.
Yep. Wow. Turns out during the divorce with my mom, he, at the bar that he used to frequent, he hooked up with a patron at the bar and the bartender.
Oh my God.
And wound up getting both of them pregnant a couple months apart, which there's a second part to that. But, and sure enough, I have a half sister. And then a year later, after we found out for sure she's my half sister, he messaged me a picture of some boy and was like, all things come in threes. This is your brother.
Oh my God.
Just so flippant like that.
And I'm like, we were already mad at you a year ago.
Oh,
he didn't want to share at that point.
Yeah. Go, hey, actually, there's two of them. She's the youngest. He's the like older one of the two scenario here. Hey, they both exist, so we can get our anger out in one go. Nope, he waited a year. So we reached out to our brother, and now I was the person who I'm sure he was like, nah, blah.
Right.
Because I reached out to him and was like, hey, we're your sister.
We don't want your money.
I left that part out. Honestly, that was the part that made it really weird.
Oh my gosh. That's so, what was going through your mind? All of a sudden you had family.
It was a weird, it was really weird. Especially being that they were both adults. So
you're not children anymore.
I got to
the oldest.
That was my biggest thing too. I was like, I'm still the eldest. Yep, they're 4 years younger than me.
Wow.
And he was born in June and she was born in November of the same year.
Wow.
And now her and I are in a sense inseparable. Like it was as if we had lived together our entire childhood.
That's such a blessing, right?
Yes,
I
love this term.
She not long after she actually moved down here because all my family, like I'm from Arkansas originally, all my family's in Arkansas. She moved down here. She left all her family and moved down here to pretty much to be with me, to join the company.
Wow.
She is literally the closest family I have at this point.
That's amazing.
She is Aunt Coco to my son, and they are
and
just.
Your son has an auntie and an uncle.
And an uncle, yeah. I've got a niece from my half brother, and his wife is pregnant with a son who's going to be born in December.
Oh my gosh, he's got cousins.
He's got cousins on my side. He's got an aunt and uncle on my side. I've got siblings. I've got nieces and nephews.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What does your sister do for the company?
So she, at the beginning of this year, got promoted to the chief operating officer.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Wow. So now she's your right hand.
So now she's my right hand man. And it works much better because now there's that joint, like my mom always told me to never let anybody into the company that's not blood.
Oh,
interesting.
That was something that was always her biggest thing. Like, never give it to anybody who's not blood. Like, never give it to a husband, a spouse, nobody. If they're not blood, do not do it. That was always just her thing.
Interesting.
And
it just so happened.
that
it still worked out that way.
that she's blood.
Wow.
And so she hopped in. I mean, she started at the company back when we still had all the employees. Like, she was there for the peak.
Wow.
She started as an entry level. She worked her way up through the management process. We kept it secret. People found out slowly but surely, but we didn't just tell people that she was my younger sister. We didn't want anybody to feel like it was
favoritism or anything like that.
So she got promoted through the ladder of her own like productivity and skills and behavior. And sure enough, the person who I had brought on to kind of help get me through a little bit of that tough patch, I had brought on like a director of ops, somebody who had years and years of experience. He was the one that chose her as his predecessor.
Wow.
Or sorry, like his,
successor.
That's the word I'm looking for. I was like, nope, wrong word. As his successor.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when he found out that we were siblings. I think he saw that I was her emergency contact in like the payroll system or something like that.
There was some other connection or alignment.
And he chose to promote her.
Wow.
And so she completely earned the right to be second in command of her own volition. It wasn't just
so she's carrying
welcome
her own
to the
weight.
company. You're now second in command. Congratulations. No, it took her years to just work her way up the ladder of her own doing.
Yeah. So how has that changed the dynamic now that you two are running it? Now you've gone through so much change. What is new about how you're leading forward at this point?
So we don't hide it anymore. We tell people pretty much right off the bat that we are siblings, that we are a family-owned and operated company.
I love it.
In interviews, in everything. And that's step one to being personal with the employees.
That transparency.
Yeah, that starting them with that transparency from the interview, from day one, and just leading it through all of the employees. I mean, it was just her and I and our assistant just running the company for probably a good year. Little over that, actually. We had some like interns come in here and there when we had big upticks where we could afford to bring somebody else in, but we ran it as lean as we possibly could for as long as we could.
So it worked.
It did. I mean, we got through it. Our lawyer helped negotiate out all of the debts that we had accumulated from all those contracts that the previous second in command had signed us into.
Yeah.
We got all of that under control. We got the finances back stable. We changed what we viewed as success from people to ROI and actual like bottom line, driving all of our meetings around looking at the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet, what's in the bank, what do we have upcoming, what bills do we have to pay, accounts receivable. Like, that is the start of all of our conversations now. And then that just made it so much more financially stable. To now we're growing again.
That's so wonderful.
I mean, it was just
amazing.
The three of us for a while. And then this year, we actually were able to start hiring on people. In the past 3 months, I think we've brought on 4 people.
Wow.
So we're business is booming again. We're starting to tick back up, but we're making sure we're not hiring just to hire again.
It's not a vanity metric anymore.
Exactly. I don't need to say I have all these employees. No, I want to say that we are financially stable and that we were able to carry this much over into the next year finance-wise.
Entrepreneurship is truly humbling. I mean, because we're so forced to evolve with the changes in our business, we're constantly evaluating all the time what's working and what isn't working. And so it's growth at every moment, and being okay to ask for help is huge. So how did We Venture come into play for you?
So back during our prime, actually, one of my business friends said, hey, there's this group that's all about like women entrepreneurs. I think you should reach out and meet with them. And I was like, okay, sure. I already have no free time with all the events I go to. What's another one? Sure. And I remember going and meeting I don't remember what event it was at this point. It was so long ago, but I remember going to one of the events and going, oh, I actually really like this. It's people who understand me, like other women entrepreneurs. I get it. I understand. This is amazing. I went through their Ignite 360 program, 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. And that was great. It was definitely not for the faint of heart.
In what ways?
They sit down with you and they build you this plan and help you work through all these different things. And then you go into these meetings with this team that they have perfectly curated for whatever needs you have at the time.
Oh, wow.
But then those people, at least for me, I mean, I'm a very honest and blunt person, so I guess I appreciated it, and it might be different for other people. But for me, I would go into my meetings, they would tear me down. And
truth hurts sometimes.
I honestly would have to block out the second half of my day when I had those meetings in the morning to just go home and just sit on my couch and go
process.
Whoa. But they would tear everything down. And then we would just brick by brick, we started kind of rebuilding everything that I needed help with at the time. And I remember back then they told me, here's these key things that you're doing that aren't going to work. Crazy that it's actually what didn't work.
Oh,
wow.
They warned me about my second in command at the time, that they didn't think that she was a good fit.
They knew right off the bat?
They knew. I was love blind. I had rose-colored glasses on. She was my best friend. I couldn't see through it. I didn't listen. Could have saved myself some trouble there. The HR person that they had assigned with me told me, putting that block in between you and your employees isn't going to be feasible. People want to know you. They want to know the person. And if that's going to be one of your values, you need to drop that act that you're putting on. You need to be you. You need to let people see you and understand it. I didn't listen. And now here we are. I actually, now that we're going back through a rebuilding phase, I went back and pulled out all of my notes that I had taken from those sessions. And I'm actually kind of putting myself back through the program, just going through the notes, because it's the same things. It's just a different time period. I have less employees now. I have less.
But it all still applies.
But it all is the exact same foundational way to approach it. So that was a really big help at the time. And even now, going back and going through it again by myself, I'm like, this was great. This was helpful. I pulled all the tools they had created for me back out and started using them again.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you still have people that you can connect with? If questions do arise?
Yes, I still have contact with all the advisors that they had given me back then. And as the years have gone on, they've actually reached out to me and been like, hey, I saw this thing that you did. So proud of you. You've come so far.
They really care.
Yeah, it really created just this little network that I could utilize. And then currently I'm actually going through one of their CEO peer group programs.
Oh yeah. How is that?
That's pretty much the same thing, just broken down into a much more peer aspect of it, instead of it being the advisors or these professionals in this specific topic. Now it's other entrepreneurs, other people who are going through similar stuff. They're trying to grow, they have similar problems, they have similar issues. And just giving me more of the entrepreneurial contact and help and assistance than the professional help and assistance I got previously.
So what's the format of that? Is it a round table that you guys do? You meet for coffee or something?
So the format changed halfway through the program, because I think they've kind of honed in on what they want the program to look like. But now it's a half-day program. You go through these preset modules where you'll talk about cash flow in a module. You'll talk about branding in a module. We talked about like the marketing side of the branding, like, okay, well now you know who you are, but how do you take that to your clients? How do you take that internally?
So they walked through all the pieces.
So it was pretty much taking like a business plan in a sense and just kind of expanding upon it and
actual execution.
Yep. But it gave you that time because you had that time blocked off on your calendar every single month. It was 4 hours every month.
Oh, wow.
And you actually worked on the company during that time period instead of working in the company like most entrepreneurials catch themselves doing.
Yes.
So that was good too. And then as well as the fact that this year we won the Impact grant.
Yeah, congratulations.
So we got top prize for the Impact grant.
How does that feel?
Cool. That also was a lengthy process.
The whole application process?
So, I mean, it's a typical, like, most people don't know how a grant functions or works until you actually do it, but you fill out an application. You basically put in like what you want to use the money for, why you deserve the money. They went through and reviewed all of those grant applications and kind of picked their top 3. And then the top 3, we had to actually pitch it. So it was it was like being on Shark Tank. You have to pitch it.
Yeah.
But they work with you in the background on actually making that pitch.
Yeah.
So I met with some of the WeVenture representatives to actually like create my pitch deck and practice my pitch deck and make sure it was within the set time limit and make sure that it was professional and to the point and that it was actually, you know, something that they were willing to have people pitch to. Yeah, I mean, they're the ones that have the money. They wanted to give it to the right people. And then I remember going into that going, well, once you get the top 3, you're guaranteed some form of money.
Yeah.
So you're either walking out of there with the 5, the 10, or the 15.
Yeah.
And I remember going, any money will be helpful. And I just remember when they announced 3rd and 2nd, and then I was like, wait a minute.
Let me do the math.
Wait a minute. That means I'm first? And the tears, I just started crying. And I don't typically cry.
Oh, I missed that portion, the awards part. I had to leave
it was so good.
They hadn't even announced it yet, and I was already crying. And I was like, no, stop it. They're going to take pictures. You have to stop crying. And that was just, it's going to be really, really helpful. I mean, we're definitely staying true to what we pitched for what we wanted the money for.
You're a completely different businesswoman today than you were 8 years ago. It's like, even just in this conversation, you could see like the full transformation. It's really cool that you've gone through that whole process. Do you feel different?
Yes, thankfully. It definitely was an emotional roller coaster on multiple fronts. But seeing, like, even going back and looking at pictures and looking at just the different things of who we were back then compared to today, it's so different. And I mean, I'm grateful for for the way that, you know, we came out of the tunnel, the way we came through the light, and where we are now. It was not the funnest of journeys to get here, but I am glad that we are through it and that I see, you know, the growth again. I'm happy again. Things are going great.
You're probably never going to make those mistakes again.
I sure hope not.
No, I mean, every journey is so unique, and who you've become through that process is truly remarkable. I mean, you walked in from a Sunday event to a Monday, I'm the CEO, I'm going to make sure everyone knows it's going to be okay, carrying that, having lost all of your family, started your own family, and then found more family. And then you went through loss of your best friend, restructuring your entire company, reflecting on what that looks like, realizing that these external values that you've delivered to your clients, it's time to embody those within your company. And now with your sister by your side who's worked her own way up the ranks, you guys are now embodying those values truly from the inside out and rebuilding completely. And now you're at this amazing place. And this is what we want our audiences to see, is that don't give up. Don't give up, because there are people that can help you, and it's part of the journey. I mean, we define success and sometimes our own detriment. So it's really, don't be afraid to reflect and reevaluate those things, right? Because reflection and the self-growth that you've done has also transformed the way you lead and has brought you to this point. So
yep, the problem is not reflecting and just like the pushing aside,
yeah, if you don't take the mask off and sit with what's happening, and
that can only last for so long.
Yeah, and allow some people in and realize, like, when you're bringing people into your company, they want to feel like you trust them enough to tell them what's going on.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Alexis. We loved having you on.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Her Story podcast, brought to you by We Venture Women's Business Center, a program of the Florida Tech Fisk College of Business, in partnership with our wonderful sponsors. Together, we are building a thriving and diverse small business ecosystem that enriches our entire community. At WeVenture, we offer free business coaching, low and no-cost business education, mentorship, and leadership development programs to help you confidently launch and grow your business. Visit weventure.fit.edu to schedule your first free coaching session or learn more about our programs and services. No matter where you are on your entrepreneurial journey, you don't have to build alone. WeVenture WBC would be honored to be a part of your success story.